Measuring your progress. In this section, I'll be showing you how you can keep a track of all of the backlinks you build. This is really important as each month you are going to be building more and more backlinks to your website, and it's going to be very easy for you to get confused and lose track of exactly what you are doing if you are not keeping track of all of the backlinks that you build. I'll also be showing you how you can track your rankings as well, as let's face it, Googling your keyword to see where your website ranks every single day is not the best way to see how your SEO campaign is progressing. And in addition to this, I'll also be going over the common questions people have, such as how long does it take to see results from SEO? I'll also be going over the 3 biggest culprits that is going to prevent your website from ranking. A lot of beginners typically run into these 3 problems. And lastly, I'll be showing you how you can make sense of your Google Analytics data, as I showed you how to set this up earlier on in the course, so it's only right I show you how you can pull valuable insights out of your Google Analytics account and really see how well your SEO campaign is performing. I'm super excited, I can't wait to get started, so without further ado, let's dive into this section. One thing you want to be doing is making sure you're keeping track of all of the backlinks you build to your website. I can almost guarantee that 90% of the websites you're competing with, they aren't tracking the backlinks. If you go ahead and track your backlinks, this takes your SEO game to a whole nother level. The beauty of tracking your backlinks is that if something does go wrong with your website, so maybe you're on page 1, then all of a sudden you go back to page 5, it's going to be one of 2 issues. It's going to be your on-page SEO or your off-page SEO. If you haven't made any changes on your website, then it's most likely going to be an off-page SEO issue, such as your backlinks. So keeping track of your backlinks makes the whole process so much more easier to diagnose and figure out where you went wrong. For example, if you can figure out you built 2 recent backlinks, and then after building those backlinks your site went down, then obviously those 2 backlinks you built could be the main problem you're having. So having a sheet with all of your backlinks will enable you to go back and look at all of your history and then pinpoint which backlinks are causing the problem. Not every backlink you build is going to have a positive effect on your rankings. Some backlinks are what we call toxic. However, if you're not tracking your backlinks, you'll have no idea which are the toxic ones. So to track your backlinks, all you need to do is go over to SEMrush and view what backlinks you have, and then simply add them to this template. This is actually the spreadsheet we use at the agency for all of our clients, and don't worry about trying to screenshot this, as I'm going to be uploading this for you as a downloadable resource. So as you can see, I'm now on SEMrush and I plugged in my agency domain, clickslice.co.uk. I now want to look at all the backlinks we have for clickslice.co.uk. So what I need to do is go to backlinks, wait for the data to load, and then once information has loaded, go ahead and click backlinks again from the tab at the top. This is now going to show me all the backlinks we have for clickslice.co.uk. So before we start reviewing the backlinks, we need to make sure we go for 1 link per domain. And I also like to tell SEMrush to only show me the links which are do follow, as you already know by now, these are the links which actually pass SEO value across to websites. And as you can see, we now have 127 different backlinks. So what I like to do is filter the backlinks by first seen and literally add the backlink to our spreadsheet from the oldest date they were built. So the first link we have at the top is from a website called deepripples.com. This link was first built on the 10th of April 2018. We have a link below from businessopportunities.biz from the 23rd of March 2019. I'm actually going to use this one as an example, as I like the name of this title right here, for SEO mistakes you don't have to make. So if we go back to our spreadsheet and figure out what information do we need to add to the spreadsheet, it's going to be the source, domain authority, the URL, anchor text, type, date posted, and some notes. So let's go through this now and I'll show you exactly how you can fill this in. So the source is simply going to be the source URL. So this is going to be the URL of the website, which is linking to your page. So in my instance, it's going to be this URL right here, which if we open this in a new tab, we'll be able to take the whole URL, Control C, we'll go back to our spreadsheet and we'll paste in the URL like so. So the next thing we need to figure out is going to be the website's domain authority. Now this is very easy to do if we use a Mozbar free Chrome extension, which I showcased earlier on in the course. So all we need to do is go onto the website, click our Mozbar Chrome extension, and as you will see, it's going to tell us this website has a domain authority of 70. So this is a really powerful website and is actually giving us a really big boost in Google. So let's go over to our spreadsheet, domain authority, we'll put in 70. The URL is going to be the URL this link actually links to. So we go back to SEMrush, let's close this Mozbar extension, and we can see it's actually going to ClickSlice's homepage. So again, I will simply go to our website, go on the home page and I'll copy that URL. I will go back to my spreadsheet and put in the URL, the anchor text which this website uses to link to our website. I believe it was a branded one. Let's go ahead and close these. So we have the anchor text right here, click slice. So again, I will copy that. I'll go back to my spreadsheet and I'll simply paste in that anchor text. The type refers to the anchor text type. So as this website is linking to ClickSlice using an anchor text saying ClickSlice, we know that this is a branded anchor text type. If you're unsure on what anchor text type the website uses, then I highly recommend that you refer back to the link building section of the course as it goes through the different anchor text types a website can have. The next column, which says date posted, so this will be the date the link actually went live. So sometimes you can actually go onto the link like so, and it will tell you the date the article was posted. However, it doesn't always do that. So in this instance, we can see it's October the 16th, 2017. So what I do, I'll simply take that and I'll go back to my spreadsheet and I'll simply add that down as the date. Now, if the date isn't shown on the actual link, then what I recommend you do is actually just take the date from what you have within SEMrush. So as you can see, the date we have within SEMrush is actually a lot later than the date when the actual article was posted. The reason why these dates will never match up is because SEMrush has to actually find the link themselves and then add it to the database. So this is actually good to know, as if you go out there and build a backlink now, don't expect it to show in SEMrush within a couple of weeks. It can take a few months for SEMrush to find these links. So for the last column on the spreadsheet, which simply says notes, this is where you can go in and add any notes about this backlink. For example, how did you build the backlink? Was it a guest post? So if so, I'd put in guest post in the notes. Maybe it wasn't a guest post. Maybe it was a skyscraper technique. Then I'll go in and put the skyscraper technique. So really and truly, you can use the note column how it suits your business. This is just how we use it at the agency. But essentially, what you want to do is go through all of your backlinks in SEMrush and ensure you keep a log of everything. And obviously, as you go out there and build new backlinks yourself, ensure you get them added to the spreadsheet as well. This will ensure you know exactly what is going on and will really help you take your SEO game to a whole new level. So now that you're working hard on getting your website onto page 1 of Google, it's important you keep track of your progress so you can see how things are coming along. Instead of just Googling your keyword every day and then seeing where you rank on Google, it's much more accurate and way more easier to just use a tool. In this video, I'm going to show you 2 different options you can use. The first one is actually built into SEMrush. So to access that, what we need to do is go over to projects on the left hand side and then go to position tracking. So once the page loads, you're going to be given an option to enter in your website domain. So I'm going to put in clickslice.co.uk. Notice how I'm putting in my full domain name and I'm not putting in my service page, such as my SEO service page. I'm not putting in my about page. I'm simply entering my main domain name, which is clickslice.co.uk. So once you've entered in your domain name, you want to go ahead and click setup. For the search engine, you want to ensure you have Google selected. For the device, I typically go for desktop. However, you can go for mobile and tablet. It's completely your choice. There isn't any right or wrong thing to do right here. For location, you want to put in the location your website is targeting. So as ClickSlice is an SEO agency based in London, I'm going to put in London as my location. Like so. And for the business name for the local map pack, now this is only applicable if you have a Google My Business listing. So a Google My Business listing is a thing you'll see on the right hand side of the page if you search for your website name. And of course, if you don't have an address registered for your business with Google, then you most likely will not have a Google My Business listing. As quite a few people watching this video will not have a Google My Business listing, I'll go ahead and skip this part of the setup. However, the one thing you want to make sure you have right on this page is going to be volume to show. So I've put down London as my location, and you can see we have 2 different options for a local and we have national. So what this means is SEMrush is going to track where you rank in Google based on either your local location, which is what you entered, or it's going to use a broad IP address and search across the whole United Kingdom. As I'm only interested in where I'm ranking for people searching within London, I'm going to go ahead and make sure that is on local, which it should be by default anyway. So once you're happy with these settings, what you need to do is go ahead and click keywords. And now this is where you have the opportunity to add in the keywords you'd like to track. So I've already got a list of my keywords here. I'm only going to use 4 for the purpose of this training video, as if I enter in too many keywords, it's going to take ages to load. So I've gone for local SEO services London, again tied down to London. I've got SEO consultant London, SEO expert London, and I've gone for SEO Essex, which is a county on the east side of London. So once you've entered your keywords, you want to go ahead and click add to project. This is now going to bring your keywords across. So before you start clicking start tracking below to track these keywords, you can see there's actually an option above this box which says send me weekly updates. Now this is ticked by default and I find it actually very handy to actually have. And essentially when you have this box checked, what's going to happen is SEMrush is going to send you an email every single week and will give you a short snippet of how your keywords are progressing. For example, did they increase? Did they decrease? And it's quite handy to notice when doing SEO, as if you see some of your keywords are decreasing, you can obviously put some more time aside to ensure these keywords and these pages are optimized correctly. So let's go ahead and click start tracking, and our SEMrush is going to go out there and search for my keywords based on a London IP, as I went for local, and it's going to tell me exactly where I rank for all of these keywords. So once the page has loaded, you can see that SEMrush actually returns quite a bit of information. However, what I find most useful is if you go over to the overview tab, this is where you can see your actual rankings for all of those keywords. So if you scroll down where it says rankings overview, I've got 1 of 4 as I added 4 different keywords, and essentially these are the keywords right here, and this is the position we rank for these keywords in Google. So for local SEO services London, we're in position 4. For SEO consultant London, we're in position 5. For SEO Expert London, we're in position 6, and for SEO Essex, we're in position 12. If you look to the right hand side of the chart, you can also see we have the URL, which is really good as well. So this is the URL which is ranking in Google every time someone carries out a search for this particular keyword. This is actually very handy to have, as if you notice you have any really weird URLs appearing for a keyword, then you can obviously go into your website, de-optimize that page, and make sure the right URL appears for it. The chart also shows you the volume of these keywords, so how often this keyword gets searched for every single month in Google. However, my data seems to be still loading, but I'm not going to sit and make you wait for this, but essentially it will actually pull in your monthly search volume as well, which is another really good figure to have. So this is essentially how you can track your keywords using SEMrush. I'm pretty sure this is updated daily. However, I wouldn't recommend you log in every day to check your rankings, as SEO is really a long-term game. I would say at most you want to log in once a week, and to be fair, that is more than enough. Maybe once a month is still more than sufficient. You need to give Google some time so they can check the changes you made and adjust your rankings accordingly. Checking your rank tracker every day really isn't a good idea, as the more you log in, it's not really going to make your keywords rank any higher. It's just a case of you logging in, checking, logging in, checking. That's why it's far better just to check once a month to get a good idea of exactly how the campaign is going. And as you can see, for 3 of these 4 keywords, we're ranking on page 1 on Google. And again, this is all by following the same strategies that you've learned in this course. Hopefully this just shows you how powerful SEO really is when done correctly. The next tool you can use to track your rankings is called SERProbot.com. So SERProbot.com actually comes with a free 14-day trial, so you can get access to all of the features for 14 days for completely free. After the 14 days, the cost is $5 per month, which isn't that expensive in comparison to SEMrush, so if you are running on a budget, then it's a great alternative. However, if you do have an account with SEMrush, then I recommend using SEMrush, as you have this rank tracker feature already built into the software. So once you sign up for SERProbot, what you need to do is click New Project and put in your project name, so I'll just put in ClickSlice. Now I need to put in my domain name, so it's going to be clickslice.co.uk, and I simply want to enter the keywords that I want to track, such as SEO consultant London for me. I'll add another keyword. We'll go for SEO services London, and we'll go for, I think I had local SEO services London, and so on and so on. So once you're happy with all the keywords, you want to click the region that you want to track your keywords from. So like I said, ClickSlice is targeting the UK. I have a .co.uk domain. So as a result, I want to scroll down and find United Kingdom, which is going to be right here. And once you're done adding your keywords and picking your Google region, you can simply go ahead and click Add Project. This will now add a project in your SERProbot account. So if we scroll down, let's click Got now so you can see that. You can see I have a project for ClickSlice. If I click into ClickSlice, you should see I have 3 keywords which it is tracking: SEO Consultant London, SEO Services London, and Local SEO Services London. So at the moment, there's currently no position for these keywords, as SERProbot is currently searching Google for all of my keywords to find out where I am ranking. Once it does find a number, it's going to update this every 24 hours, as that is the frequency. So it's now been 5 minutes, and as you can see, SERProbot has now updated the keyword positions for all of the keywords I'm tracking. So I have SEO Consultant London here in position 3. I've got SEO Services London here in position 21. I've got Local SEO Services, and I'm here in position 1. So as you can see, it's exactly the same as SEMrush. It provides you with the same information. It also gives you the URL as well in the last column. So you essentially get the same features as SEMrush, but it costs you a fraction of the price. You can actually click into one of the listings as well to get a bit more information. So for example, you can see I'm position 3, I can see the 2 sites above me, the sites below me, and so on and so on. So like I said, if you're running on a budget, then I recommend using SERProbot, as it's a great, much cheaper alternative than SEMrush. How long does it take to see results? What you would have just seen in the last video is some of the ranking results I've managed to generate from my own SEO agency, ClickSlice, in less than 4 months. Now I just want to give you a word of warning. 4 months is not typical. When we work with clients, we typically advise them that they can expect to see results in 4 to 6 months. Just because we've managed to generate results for ClickSlice in 4 months, it doesn't mean you can go out there and get the same results too. There are a lot of variables involved which can decrease or increase the time it takes for you to see success, such as the keywords you're targeting, the keyword difficulty, your competition, the time you have available to build backlinks, and so on and so on. It could have easily taken us 12 months to get these results, or even 18 months. SEO is very unpredictable. There is no way to say how long it will take to see results. However, what you can be reassured with is that you are following a proven and a predictable method you can follow to get your website ranked higher in Google. Literally everything you've seen in this course, from content creation to on-page SEO, link building, and so on, is exactly the same steps I apply to ClickSlice, and we're ranking at the top of Google for tons of competitive keywords. It's also the exact strategy we use to rank all of our client websites as well. Do be patient and do be consistent. The reason why I recommend 4 to 6 months is because with SEO, as you know, you have to build up the trust and the authority of your website, which you can't just do overnight. For example, one element of the campaign is link building. That's going out there and getting your site mentioned on external websites. You can't just go out there and build 1,000 backlinks in 1 month. Well, in theory you can, but I wouldn't recommend it, as you may get penalized by Google for unnatural link building. What you want to do is build links naturally and gradually. This takes time and is done on a month-to-month basis. As a result, when you're reviewing your SEO campaign, it's best to look at things on a month-by-month basis, not week-by-week, not day-by-day, month-by-month. A good idea is to look at your SEO campaign every 3 months, just to make sure it's going in the right direction. Obviously, in the first 1 or 2 months, you want to pay a bit more attention than usual, especially when you're setting up all your on-page SEO and so on, but after that, there's literally no need to check it every week. In summary, I just wanted to make you all aware that just because we generated results in 4 months for ClickSlice, it doesn't mean you can also get the same results for your website. However, like I said, keep plucking away and you will get there. The reason I know you will get there is because you're following a proven and a predictable strategy that generates results. What to do if your rankings aren't increasing? First things first, stay calm. If you've been carrying out your SEO campaign for longer than 6 months and you've seen 0 improvements, so your rankings haven't gone up, or even worse, they've gone down, what that means is something has gone wrong along the way. I thought I'd make this video to comment on the most likely culprits and explain exactly how you can fix them. So culprit number 1, you've over-optimized on the anchor text. Let's say you've been building links to one of your pages and the main keyword you're targeting is yoga mats. What you want to do is check your backlink spreadsheet and have a look at all of the links pointing to your website using the anchor text of yoga mat. You could have just simply used too many variations of this anchor text, meaning you've over-optimized. If you do find this is the case, I wouldn't recommend you remove these links. What I would advise, however, is you start building more branded links to help balance out your overall anchor text ratio. Culprit number 2, you've under-optimized on the anchor text. This would be the opposite of what I just mentioned in number 1. What you want to do again is open up your backlink spreadsheet, have a look at all of the links pointing to your site, and then make a count of how many times these links mention your main keyword. If they don't mention your main keyword enough, then what you want to do is build more links with your keywords in it. So that's building more backlinks with your target match anchors. If you ever want a bit of guidance for what anchor text you should use, just plug in one of the top ranking competitors into Ahrefs and see exactly what they're using. Once you've done that, you'll have a blueprint on exactly what you can follow too. Culprit number 3, keyword density is too high. This refers to the actual content you have on your website. So this is more of an on-page SEO issue. Potentially, you could have mentioned the keyword on your website way too many times in comparison to the sites already at the top of page 1. As a result, your page is going to be way over optimized for this keyword. Remember, when doing SEO, we want to fit in and look natural. If you go ahead and add the keyword on your page maybe 20 times or even 30 times more than you should have it, what you're going to do is stand out like a sore thumb. Google is going to spot this from a mile away and say, hey, this person is trying to manipulate our algorithm and trying to rank for this keyword by keyword stuffing. And as you will know from watching the video on the Google algorithms, mainly Google Penguin, you cannot keyword stuff anymore. As soon as you start keyword stuffing, you're going to have a negative effect on your rankings. So just check how many times you mention the keyword on your website in comparison to the competition and in comparison to how long your content is. These are typically the 3 things I see which are holding most people back. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can find out how many people are visiting your website. That is typically the first question the majority of people have when they first create their Google Analytics account. Literally everyone wants to find out exactly how many people are landing on their website. To find out how many people are viewing your website, what you want to do is go to the acquisition report on the left-hand side under reports. As remember, acquisition is all about how we acquire people onto our website. So as a result, if we go into the acquisition reports, we'll be able to find out exactly how many people are landing on our website. So under acquisition, go to overview. And then once you land on the overview tab, the first thing which you want to do is specify a predetermined date range. To do that, you simply need to click the date range on the right-hand side here. And we have a few different options we can select from. We can go to custom, which is literally any custom date range you select. Or you can click the drop-down menu and go for today, yesterday, last week, last month, the last 7 days, or the last 30 days. For the example of this video, I'll go for the last 30 days. And as you can see, the date range has now selected and our data has now updated. One thing I'd like to clarify is as I'm in the demo account for the official Google merchandise store, which is an e-commerce website, I actually have 2 columns, one for users right here, and I have another column on the right hand side for conversions. If you do not own an e-commerce website, then 9 times out of 10, you will not see this conversion box right here. You will only see users. If you'd like to see a more detailed insight into your actual traffic numbers, then what I recommend you do is you go to all traffic and then go to channels. And what that will do will open up a whole another tab where you can see the whole line chart literally full screen. So as you can see for the traffic chart for the Google official merchandise store, it seems to be pretty much steady at about 2,500 visitors a day. It seems to drop on Saturdays and Sundays and then go back up again on Monday. Pretty much the same story for the rest of that week. Drops again on Saturdays and Sundays, increases, drops, increases, and drops again. So by default, the traffic is going to be sorted out by days, which I do recommend you view your traffic on a day-by-day basis, as it makes it very easy to spot any trends you may have. For example, we can see the traffic is consistent from Monday to Friday, but it drops on the weekend. If I was to change this from day to week, like I've just done, you can see it's literally almost impossible to see any trends. The traffic looks pretty much steady throughout the whole week. And if I go to the whole month on the whole, you can see it's going to be even a little bit worse. No trends whatsoever. And the main reason why we're not seeing any trends here is only because I've specified a date range of just 30 days. Of course, if you go for a more custom preset of maybe 12 months, then you'll be able to see trends more easily. However, if you are only viewing data under 30 days, then I highly recommend that you should be analyzing your data on a day-by-day basis. Analyzing your website's traffic is a really good practice so you can get a good idea into exactly how well your website is performing. This is especially true if you are working on maybe SEO in the background, as ideally the more SEO you do, the more traffic you should be generating. So over time, you should expect to see an increase in your traffic chart and not a decline. And if you do spot a decline in your traffic chart, then it's something for you to be aware of and address as a business. That brings us to the end of this video, and I'll see you in the next one. In the last video, I showed you how you can find out how much traffic your website is getting. Typically, the next question people will have, well, what country is my traffic coming from? And that's exactly what I'm going to show you how to find out in this video right here. To find out what country your traffic is coming from, what you want to do is go over to Audience. As remember, Audience allows you to learn more about the users on your website. Then under Audience, you want to go to Geo, and then go to location. If we scroll down on this page, you can see we are getting a breakdown of all of our users by country. So in this instance, for the official Google merchandise store, we can see that the number one country sending traffic to this website is indeed the United States, followed by India, Canada, Spain, United Kingdom, Taiwan, Japan, and so on and so on. We can see how many users are coming from this country. We can also see the bounce rate of these users from this country, and for those who don't actually know, the bounce rate is basically an indication of how many people are coming onto your website and bouncing straight back to the search results. A high bounce rate is a good indication that people are not happy with what they are seeing. A low bounce rate is a good indication that these people are indeed happy with the content they are viewing. There isn't any concrete number which you need to work towards, as this is going to change drastically depending on what type of website you operate and depending on what type of content you have out there. However, do try and keep it as low as possible, and you probably could actually carry out some research to find out what the average bounce rate is for your specific industry. In this example, we can see the United States has a bounce rate of 36%, and we can see that India has a bounce rate of 59%. However, we go even higher on South Korea, they have a bounce rate of 66%. So what this tells us is that the majority of users coming from South Korea are not as impressed with our content in comparison to those coming from the US. We can also view how many pages our users view per session on average, which for the US we can see is 6.65. So essentially what that means is that the average person views 6.65 pages on our website before they exit our site. If we compare that to South Korea once again, you can see the average pages per session is only 2.70, which would be 3 pages. So again, this is another clear indication that our website resonates better with people in the US in comparison to South Korea. You can also see the revenue generated per country as well if you have Ecommerce and goal tracking set up, but essentially hopefully this gives you a really good idea into exactly how you can use these countries to understand who your most valuable audience is. If you'd like to get more detail on these countries, then what you can actually do is click into any of them in the first menu. For example, if I go into the United States, what it's going to do is give me a breakdown of all of this data by state or city for that country. And then once again, you can do exactly the same process, review all of the data and pull out really important insights. For example, I can already see that the bounce rate for Washington, which is number 5, is only 24.77%, so roughly 25%. But the bounce rate for Florida, another state, number 4, is almost double that, 44.68%. So what does this tell me as a business? Well, it tells me that people in Washington are liking my content more than ones in Florida. And I can also see from the revenue that Washington has actually generated $2,000 in sales, or $2,354 to be specific, and Florida has only generated $1,000. So this state in particular is worth more to my business, and as a result, if I wanted to grow my business and carry out more marketing activities, then Washington is going to be a really good state to target in comparison to Florida. So hopefully that gives you an idea of exactly how you can use this data in the real world. I hope you found this video useful, and I'll see you in the next one. Finding out how much traffic your website gets is great to know. However, what's even more insightful is finding out what pages on your website are the ones that are generating the bulk of that traffic. To find out what the most popular pages are on your website, what you need to do is go back to the report on the left-hand side, and we want to go to behavior, which of course is all about how people behave once they're on our website. And then we want to go to site content and then go to all pages. And then once again, you want to select the specified date range. So for me, I will leave it at the last 30 days, just make sure that has reapplied. And then by default, Google Analytics is going to sort all of your pages in order of the ones that have received the most page views. So we can see for the Google official merchandise store, the most popular page on the whole website is the home page, which currently equates to 17.74% of the total traffic on the site. The second most popular page is the basket, so that would imply that a lot of people are adding things to the basket and are actually purchasing things off the site, which is great if you are Google. On the site content page, we can also see the bounce rate of our pages as well. For those who don't know, the bounce rate is essentially the percentage of people that land on your website and then bounce back to the search results. A high bounce rate indicates that people are not happy with the content they are viewing. There isn't any concrete rule of thumb number that I like to stay under. However, you want to try and make sure your bounce rate is under 80%. If you do see any pages on your website that have a really high bounce rate, for example, such as this one, number 6, this has a bounce rate of 91.55%. That is really, really high and is a strong indication that people aren't really happy in regards to the content they are viewing. Now, this could be for two different reasons. It could be either number 1, the page isn't a good fit for that person, which can have an implication on the SEO. For example, if someone Googles the word apples, then they land on your page and it's all about bananas, then of course that person is not going to be happy. They're going to hit the back button and find another website. So things like that can have a really big impact on what your bounce rate is. Another contributing factor of having a high bounce rate can be a poor user experience once the person lands on your website. For example, if your website is not mobile optimized and someone on a mobile lands on your website, then they're not going to have a great experience. So looking at a bounce rate can give you a really good idea of exactly what pages you need to improve. Ideally, your most popular pages listed at the top should have the lowest bounce rates, as are the most popular pages on your website. And as you can see, number 1, the home page has a bounce rate of 51%, the basket has a bounce rate of 32%, and then the Google redesign apparel page has a bounce rate of 55%. We do have some really low bounce rate pages below as well. We have 21% right here for the Google sign in page, and we've got a few more 30s towards the bottom of page 1. Another great thing you can do to establish why some of these pages are the most popular on your website is to actually look at the source and medium. Now, what that allows you to do is to figure out where the traffic is actually coming from. When I say where, I'm referring to the source. Is it from a paid ad campaign? Is it from SEO, which would be organic? Is it from another website, which would be classified as referral traffic? To see this data, all we need to do is go to secondary dimension here at the top. Then under acquisition, you want to go ahead and click source/medium. That will add another column to this data and it will let you know exactly where the source of traffic is coming from. In this instance, the source traffic for the Google merchandise store says direct and none. Using the word none is a little bit misleading from Google. A better word to use instead would actually be unknown, as what it means is Google doesn't actually know where the traffic is coming from. Direct traffic is basically when someone goes over to the browser and directly types in the Google URL. It could also come from someone adding a bookmark to the favorites as well and clicking on that bookmark to access your website. To give you a bit of more tangible data and show you exactly how this would typically look on a normal website, I'm going to go into one of my client accounts right here. This is one of the clients we work with called Humax Direct. I'm exactly on the same screen for the site content for all of the pages. I'm going to go ahead and do exactly the same thing. Go into acquisition. I'm going to go into source medium. Google Analytics is then going to add a new column, like you can see, like so. And as you can see, we can see all the source mediums for all of the most popular pages on the website. We can see that they have this page right here, which is selling one of the Android TV recorder products. The source medium for this is CPC, which is basically paid ads, which is coming directly from Google, which indicates the bulk of the traffic coming to this page is all coming from Google Ads. We have the second most popular page below, which is a Freeview page. The majority of the traffic coming to this page is all coming from Google Organic. So organic refers to SEO, aka this page ranking highly in the Google Organic search listings. The same applies to the next most popular pages followed below. Then in number 8, you can see right here, we have the source medium coming from humaxdigital.com, which is actually one of the sister websites. So long story short, what that means is they have another website that they own, and this website is generating them a lot of traffic to the main website. Hence why under source medium, it says referral. Understanding what pages are the most popular on your website and where the traffic is coming from, along with how high or how low the bounce rate is going to give you tons and tons of information that you can make smart business decisions based on. For example, if you find out one of your pages have a high bounce rate, you can then go into that page to address that problem. If you find out one of your pages isn't getting as much traffic as you would like, you could then allocate more marketing budget to increase the traffic for that specific page. Understanding how to interpret this data is really going to help you take your business to the next level. I'll see you in the next one. In this video, you are going to learn why and how to set up goals in Google Analytics. Goals are literally one of the most important things you can set up when it comes to configuring and setting up a Google Analytics account. So first things first, what is a goal? A goal represents a completed activity called a conversion that contributes to the success of a business. As all businesses are different and measure success in different forms, a goal can actually be different things. For example, if you own an e-commerce website, then a goal you may want to track is users on your website who make a purchase. If you can see how many purchases are coming through your website, then you'll be able to understand how well your website is performing. However, if you're not an e-commerce website owner, maybe you're a local business owner or a service-based business, then a goal that you may want to track is when users submit a form on your website or any form of contact information, as you then have all of the details which you can use to market to them and sell your services. If you own a gaming app, then potentially you'd want to set up a goal when users complete a level in the game, as then they're more likely to pay for your additional upsells. A goal is literally any specific action that users take on your website that would be valuable for you to know about. If you don't set up goals, then all you can measure is how many users are coming to your website. And yes, you can be focused on growing that, but if those users aren't completing those specific actions, which are valuable to your business, then it's going to be really hard for you to grow your business going forward. Hopefully now you understand exactly why it's so important to set up goals in your Google Analytics account. It's good to note as well that goals are not automatically set up by Google, as like I just discussed, all businesses measure goals in different forms, so it's actually up to you to go into your account and configure the goals based on your specific business, which of course I'm going to show you exactly how to do in this video right here. Setting up goals is actually quite straightforward. All you need to do is log into your Google Analytics account, then go to admin in the bottom left hand corner, and then go to goals on the right hand side under all website data. Then go ahead and click new goal. And we now have three options which we need to go through to set up the actual goal. We have number 1, the goal setup, number 2, the goal description, and number 3, the goal details. So let's start off with number 1. So the first thing which you need to decide on is if you want to set up a goal from complete scratch, which would be custom, or if you want to use a goal template, which Google has already pre-configured for you. Now, I highly recommend that everyone goes for a templated option, as 99% of people are going to find a pre-filled templated option that applies to their business. For example, we have revenue right here at the top for e-commerce websites. However, just a word of warning, if you do actually own an e-commerce website, then I do not recommend you set up goal tracking to measure how many transactions and sales are coming through your website, as you're going to be far better off just enabling e-commerce tracking, which I'll show you how to do in the next video, by the way. But essentially, there are tons of different goals, as you can see. We have create an account, which comes under acquisition. We have inquiry-based goals, so contact us, read reviews, request a callback, people accessing a live chat, downloading or installing some software, maybe a PDF. We have engagement related goals to do with adding stuff to people's favorites, media plays, subscribing to a newsletter, literally tons and tons of goals that you can select from. Now, what's also really good to know is that the setup process for a lot of these goals are actually the same, so it doesn't really matter which one you select. For example, let's imagine you are a service-based business and the goal you want to track is when people submit a form on your website. You could go for get a callback right here, which is when people request your service or a phone call, or you could also go for a sign up, which is when people actually subscribe to a newsletter, update alerts, or join a group. Both of the setup process is exactly the same, which is why I'm saying it doesn't matter. In my instance, I'm going to go for sign up and then click continue. We now need to give our goal a name. I'm going to change my name from sign up and go to contact form submission. The goal slot ID should remain exactly how it is, so don't change anything there whatsoever. And under type, you want to go for destination. And essentially what this is we're going to give Google Analytics a destination URL, which it's going to use to measure when a goal is completed. This is by far the best type to use when it comes to setting up goals for contact forms, as when someone submits a contact form and they land on a thank you page, which is going to be your destination page, well, there's only one way that person could have got to that thank you page, and it's by filling in your contact form. So go ahead and click continue once you've selected destination. And now what we need to do is put in the destination URL. So this is going to be the URL of your thank you page, which people land on once they submit in your contact form. Now, not all contact forms actually redirect to a thank you page. So if your form doesn't actually do that, then what you will need to do is go into the backend of your website and get that configured just to make sure you are tracking things accurately. If you are not sure what your thank you page URL is, then the best thing to do is to actually fill in the form as if you are a user. And once you land on that thank you page, simply go ahead and copy the URL and enter it in this box right here. Now, you don't want to enter in the full URL. As you can see, Google actually state that in the text below. You want to go ahead and just enter in the part after the /, which is going to be something like thank you in my instance. And then the last thing which you'll want to go ahead and do is actually assign a monetary value to the conversion. Now, you don't have to do this if you don't actually know how much each goal is actually worth to you. However, if you do have some indication, then it's going to be quite useful, as it's going to provide more tangible data in your Google Analytics account. Now, let me give you some rule of thumbs of what you should actually use when it comes to assigning a value to each goal in your account. So here is my general rule of thumb when it comes to assigning goal values. If you own an e-commerce website, you should leave it as it is and put no value. If your goal is classified as lead generation, which would include form submissions, like in my instance, then what you should put down for your goal value is your expected revenue per lead. If you're setting up goals for email subscribers, then typically an average email subscriber is going to be worth somewhere between $3 to $10. So on the lower end, as of course, not all of your email subscribers are actually going to take action and buy your product or service. If you're tracking engagement, then that's going to be super low. I recommend you put down $1 or less. So that is my rule of thumb. If you're in the lead generation category and you're struggling to figure out what revenue you can expect per lead that fills in your form on the website, then a pretty solid strategy you can actually follow is to work backwards. So let's imagine your sales team closes 10% of people who submit a form inquiry, and the average amount of money a person spends with your business is $1,000. Then you might assign your goal value as $100 per lead, which of course is 10% of $1,000. However, in contrast, if only 5% of form submissions actually result in a sale, then you might only assign $50 to your goal. I hope that gives you an idea of exactly how you can work backwards to figure out what value you should be putting down in your account. However, like I said, if you don't know what value you should be using, then it's better to just leave it as off as default. However, once you're happy and you finish setting up all 3 steps of the goal process, all you need to do is go ahead and click save. And now you can see our goal has been created and it is currently turned on and recording any of the specific actions which we've just configured. In summary, setting up goals is something you definitely want to be doing in your account. It's going to give you more data and let you understand exactly how well your website is performing rather than just seeing how many users your website is getting. That is it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it and I'll see you in the next one. E-commerce tracking. In this video, I'll be showing you how you can set up and enable e-commerce tracking in Google Analytics so you can measure the number of all your transactions and revenue generated by your website. The first step to set this up is to enable the feature. To do so, head into your Google Analytics account and then go to admin in the left corner. Then you want to find e-commerce settings, which is right here, e-commerce settings. And then all you want to do is simply toggle this from off to on. Now, as you can see, once we turn it on, we have another option below, which is enable enhanced e-commerce reporting. So allow me to go back to my PowerPoint slides to explain the difference between standard e-commerce tracking and enhanced e-commerce tracking. As you would have saw, there are 2 main methods of being able to track sales data from your website. We had the first one, which is a standard e-commerce tracking. Now, the standard e-commerce tracking allows you to measure the number of transactions and revenue that your website generates. The enhanced e-commerce tracking, well, it provides you with a bit more information about user interactions with products on your website, along with the user's shopping experience. For example, how many impressions your product gets, how many clicks your product gets, how many people add it to the cart, the whole initiation of the checkout process, transactions, refunds, literally so much more information. However, setting them up requires more work and it may include a cost if you was to outsource the setup. I recommend that you only set up enhanced e-commerce tracking if you don't have any other tool that allows you to analyze the customer journey, sales funnel, and revenue generation. Therefore, if you are just getting started with Google Analytics, then I highly recommend that you just go for the first option, which is going to be e-commerce tracking. Therefore, if you are just getting started with Google Analytics e-commerce reports, then the standard option is going to be the best choice. So let's go back into our account and make sure we don't have enhanced e-commerce reporting on. Let's go ahead and click save. And now that is the first step completed. The second step to set up e-commerce tracking is to actually add the code onto your website. Now, the great news is that if you are using a shopping platform such as Shopify or Magento, then you don't have to do any additional steps, as they built the platform so that it's very easy to send data across into your Google Analytics account. Literally, all you need to do is enable those reports like I just showed you how to do, then you'll be able to see data in your Google Analytics reports. The way it works is it uses the standard Google Analytics tracking code that you've already added to your website. So in short, once you have the Google Analytics tracking set up, all you need to do is enable the e-commerce tracking and you're pretty much good to go. If you are using another platform, maybe WooCommerce for example, then what I recommend you do is you go ahead and check out their support documents to see the easy steps to get this set up too. If you are not using any shop system on your website and you'd like to track all of this data, then what you need to do is essentially add all of this code manually to your website. Now there's quite a lot of JavaScript and HTML involved when adding all of these transactional data to your actual website. So if you're not familiar with code, then I highly recommend you hire a freelancer to actually set this all up for you. It's a pretty standard process, so finding someone shouldn't be too difficult. The final step to set this all up is to simply go back into your Google Analytics account and just verify that it's all working. To do so, you want to go to conversions and then go to e-commerce and then go to overview. And then after a few days of the data populating, you should be able to log into your Google Analytics account and see exactly how much revenue has been generated for your website, your e-commerce conversion rate, your transactions, your average order value, and you can also see a breakdown of your sales by product as well. It's literally that straightforward. A lot of people seem to get really confused and overwhelmed when it comes to tracking all of this data, but literally all you need to do is ensure you already have the analytics code installed on your website and then enable the feature and hook the two up together. And as you can imagine, once you have all of this data in your account, it's going to give you more insights into exactly how you can optimize your website to generate more sales from your users. That is it for this one. Now you know how to set it up. I highly recommend that you do set it up if you own an e-commerce website and start to take full advantage of all of the data.